invited to one of the best places in our academy. This is our planetarium. Today we will not have projection of the sky and stars, unfortunately for the captains, but the hall is maybe the best place in our academy for such events. I just waited to welcome you again. Hope that we will have a good time and useful time. So I give a floor to Captain Stoyanov, who will be the mediator of this meeting.
Welcome again. I will be very shortly, and I will give the floor to Mayor of District of Asparukhovo, Maritime Municipality of Varna, and our very great supporter of this event.
Добър ден от мен.
Good morning from me.
Уважаеми капитан далечно плаване Венцислав Иванов, изпълнителен директор на изпълнителна агенция Морска администрация.
Dear Captain Ivanov, the executive director, the executive officer of maritime administration.
Флотилен адмирал Георги Пенев, заместник командир на военноморските сили.
Flotilla Admiral Georgi Penev, the deputy commander of the Navy.
Уважаеми професор Калин Калинов, заместник-началник на военноморското училище.
Dear Professor Kalinov, the deputy director, the deputy head of the Naval Academy.
Капитан Ерик Далеге, президент на Европейската морска пилотска асоциация.
Captain Erich Dalege, the president of the European Maritime Association.
Уважаеми представители на европейските асоциации на капитаните.
Dear representatives of the European Association of Maritime Captains.
Уважаеми гости на годишната Генерална Асамблея на Европейската Конфедерация на асоциациите на морските капитани.
Dear visitors, dear guests of the annual conference of the European Conference of Maritime Captains. Confederation of Shipmasters Association.
Имам честта да ви приветствам с добре дошли в морската столица на България, град Варна.
I have the honor to welcome you to the maritime capital of Bulgaria, the city of Varna.
Място, което от дълбока древност и до днес е свързано с морето, корабоплаването и риболова.
This is a place which has been involved in the maritime industry, like shipping and fishing since ancient times.
Тук са се формирали морски цивилизации, които през вековете са допринесли за постоянно нарастващо значение на града.
Here, maritime civilizations have been formed who have contributed to the ever-increasing importance of the city.
Не случайно тук е изградена през далечната 1866 година първата железница на Балканския полуостров Варна, Русе.
It is not by accident that in 1866 the first Bulgarian railroad was built from the city of Varna to the city of Ruse.
Сега отново са актуални плановете за прокопаване на канал Варна-Русе.
Now the plans to build a canal from the city of Varna to the city of Ruse are still topical.
Които да свърже Черно море с река Дунав.
To connect the Black Sea with the Danube River.
На 25 юли 1892 година във Варна е създадено първото българско търговско параходско дружество.
The first Bulgarian maritime company was created on the 25th of July 1892.
Това е основа на търговското корабоплаване в България.
This was the basis of the fundament of merchant shipping in Bulgaria.
Като районен кмет на Аспарухово, морското кметство на град Варна,
As the regional mayor of Аспарухово, which is the maritime capital of Варна,
искам да подчертая, че уникалното крайбрежие на града и свързването му с Варненското езеро,
I would like to emphasize that connecting the city with the unique coast of Bulgaria and connecting it with the lake of Varna, the Varna Canal,
позволява навлизането на море в сушата на повече от 14 мили.
It allows the connection of the sea with the land for more than 14 miles.
Където могат да бъдат изградени пристанищни зони и логистични центрове.
Where it is possible to build port areas and logistics centers.
Това дава възможност за формиране на индустриална зона, пряко свързана с морския транспорт.
This gives the opportunity to form an industrial zone directly connected with maritime transport
и корабостроение.
And shipbuilding.
Съчетанието на научни разработки и високи технологии,
the combination of research developments and high technology,
където лидер е нашия домакин, именно Висшето военноморско училище,
where the leader is exactly our host, the Naval Academy in Varna.
Приноса на Техническия университет и други учебни заведения в града,
the contribution of the Technical University and other institutes of higher education in the city,
в тясно взаимодействие с морския бизнес,
in close cooperation with maritime business,
са основа на съвременната българска морска индустрия.
They are the basis of the modern Bulgarian maritime industry,
която е гръбнакът и именно се намира в град Варна, Република България.
Which is its backbone and it's located exactly in the city of Varna in Bulgaria.
Бъдещето на европейската морска индустрия,
the future of European maritime industry,
е във високо квалифицираните морски кадри и зелени технологии,
is in the highly qualified maritime personnel and green technology,
което е мотото и на нашето събиране,
which is also the motto of our event.
Това дава основание и увереност, че Европейския съюз отново ще бъде новатор и водеща сила в морския и транспортен бизнес, както и в корабостроението.
This gives us the belief and the confidence that the European Union will again be the innovator and the leading force in the maritime industry and shipbuilding.
Искам да изкажа специални благодарности на капитан Стоянов.
I would like to say special thanks to Captain Stoyanov
и всички свързани с тази организация и конференция, които ме поканиха, имах честта дори с малко да помогна за нейното осъществяване.
And everybody who invited me to this conference and to the opportunity to give my contribution, even as small as it is, to its organization and its materialization.
И съм готов винаги да помагам, когато се наложи.
And I'm always ready to help if it is necessary.
Желая успех и 7 фута под кила на годишната Генерална Асамблея на Европейската Конфедерация на асоциациите на морските капитани, чието горд домакин е град Варна и военноморско училище Варна.
I wish great success for this conference and 7 feet under the keel to all the members of this association who are welcome to the city of Varna.
Thank you.
I just now give a floor to representative of Naval Academy, our important host of this event, Deputy Head of Naval Academy, Professor Калинов.
Dear Secretary General Captain Dimitrov, dear Flotilla Admiral.
President.
President. Dear President, Captain Dimitrov, dear Flotilla Admiral Penev, dear Mayor, dear representatives of European associations, captains, friends, guests, welcome in the Naval Academy. I have the pleasure on behalf of the Naval Academy Commandant Flotilla Admiral Professor Vapcharov and the whole academic staff to welcome you in the Naval Academy, and please let me introduce in few words our academy. Our academy is the oldest technical school in Bulgaria, established in 1991. This year we celebrated 142 years anniversary. It is a pretty good age for Bulgarian institutions. These days we may say that we are the most modern technical school in Bulgaria. We are very proud of our students. We educate students for all the maritime branches, including passenger shipping, including engineers, including captains, including all the people who work for maritime industry. We are very happy to have 20% foreigners among our students, and we are, prepared for the future, but in this turbulent time we may succeed only together with our friends from the maritime community, not only from Bulgaria but from the whole world. We are very proud of friendship which we have with representatives of many companies, many countries, and many state organizations. We know that in order to adapt and to overcome all the challenges in front of the maritime community, you know that the last challenge was the artificial intellect which came in the end of the previous year. In order to overcome all these challenges and to continue successfully educate students, we have to be hand in hand with our friends and partners. That's why, together with you, I believe that we already gave a new material sense of words like partnership, friendship. For this, I want to thank you on behalf of the whole academic staff. One more time, welcome in the Naval Academy. I wish you successful conference and personal health and following will.
Thank you.
I just now give the floor to our president, Captain Dimitrov.
Thank you. Good morning to everybody, and many thanks for all who are present here. There, Captain Ivanov, Executive Director of the Maritime Administration. There, Flotilla Admiral Penev, Deputy Head of Bulgarian Navy. There, Captain Dalege, President of European Maritime Pilots Association. There, Mr. Marinov, Mayor of District of Asparukhovo. Distinguished guests, our distinguished captains, welcome to this annual General Assembly. It was possible because of the efforts of our host, Bulgarian Shipmasters Association, and its president, Captain Tsonev, but all the staff made excellent job in order to organize this event. It happened 15 years later after previous AGA, which was in Varna 2008. For those who remember, there is even one person still attending our annual General Assembly, Captain Ribaric from Slovenia. Thank you, Captain Ribaric, for coming. In these challenging times, we have also the challenges to give our expertise and opinion on shipmasters in Europe and to share our experience, but at the same time the responsibility to give our opinion on the future directions of the maritime industry, because we are experts. As we yesterday discussed during the council meeting, the human element is, I would say not human element, but human capital we have as shipmasters. we have to save this capital in Europe, and we have to work on our future in order to save our leading position in world maritime industry. I will not take your time more, so with that words I declare this annual General Assembly as open, and I wish fruitful discussions and good decisions. We have to take wise resolutions in order to give them to European institutions in the benefit of the maritime industry. Before to continue, I want to give a small present to our opening speakers, to the mayor. It's the plaque of the Confederation of European Shipmasters Association. I think to keep it in your office, and many thanks for your assistance, and we'll keep in cooperation.
Thank you very much.
Also, we want to give the same plaque to the Naval Academy. Without their assistance, this event would not be possible. So, Captain Kalininov, many thanks.
I'm very proud of this present. That's why in return I want on behalf of the commanding Mr. President, please. I'm very proud to give it on behalf of the commandant and deliver the plaque from the Naval Academy.
Thank you.
I'll give that to the secretary. So, we can continue with our real job now.
Okay, if it's possible to take to our sponsors, because without their assistance this event will not be possible. First I will have to take to Navigation Maritime Bulgar in the presence of our CEO Captain Alexandър Калчев for the great supporters. For the great supporting. Thank you, Captain Kалчев. And representative of Elin Maritime. It's a growing fast Bulgarian shipping company. And of course, our competitor here in Varna, Industrial Holding, Bulgarian Ship Industrial Holding, in the presence of DPA of the company, Captain Petrov. And another sponsors are the shipping company Sea Partner in the presence of their DPA Captain Georgiev. And all supporters which are in the very list, some of them insisted not to be named, not to be presented, only to put in the comment others. Many thanks for that. Okay, let's start with our real job. The first presentation will be made by Rичард Франке, Manager Energy Solution Company Man.
Hello. So it's a pleasure for me to speak to you guys here. You know our company with the previous names, MAN BMW, then MAN Diesel and Turbo, and after 5 years ago we got renamed to MAN Energy Solutions. And now I would like to present you our new strategy. So here's the presentation. So 250 years of experience in advanced engineering, complex systems has prepared us to the biggest challenge. So our slogan is moving big things to zero. We engineer a system for deep carbonization in sectors that matters most. Our CEO, Dr. Uwe Lauber, has said the industries we serve are crucial for the world economy. Most of them are also hard to decarbonize. This gives us the opportunity to have a big impact on the global energy transition, and that's why we get out of bed every morning. So we have actually 5 focuses. We have PHM electrolyzers, where we have hydrogen container solutions. Then green energies, this is new energies. Then we do retrofits on our existing fleets, carbon capture, storage, and also big heating pumps. Later on I will show you some examples where we, on which projects we work and where we had really successful. So HTech is a company which is a daughter from us. We invested it and we bought it, I think 5 years ago, and now we're investing 500 millions, and we do containerized solutions for hydrogen. Our green engines, this is a 2-stroke engine, and carbon neutral propulsion requires not only green fuels but also suitable engines. Already today we offer green engines that we are ready to operate on several synthetic fuels like synthetic neutral gas, methanol, and in 2024 we will have the first ammoniac engine in the market. But it's also important that we have a focus on the existing fleet and do here our step for decarbonization. So here we offer a retrofit solution. We have retrofit solutions from heavy fuel. We turn into the engine into gas engines. We can do this on 2-stroke, on 4-stroke engines. Even we converted 20-25-year-old 4-stroke engine into a gas engine. This is actually a fleet with a tanker what's going up and down on the coast of Alaska. So we retrofitted this successful 2 years ago. And then there are some areas where we cannot avoid or reduce CO2, and here we have a solution. We do carbon capture storage. This is a cement factory, what you see on the top, and lower you see our carbon capture. So, and then we have also big heat pumps. This is the first one, what we have. It's actually in Denmark. I will show later on where it's installed and the capacity of those heat pumps. You see, we have small steps, but with a huge impact. So this here is our roadmap. It's hard to read for you, but I will give you some examples, and I can also send the presentation via email. So I think there is an email distributor where you can send it to you, and then you can forward it to everybody here. But this is a roadmap until 2030, where we see the future and what projects we want to do. So most important for you, I think it's also the engines, so green engines and retrofits. In 2024, for instance, we have the first ammoniac engine into the market, 2-stroke, and then slightly in 2025, we have also retrofit for ammoniac for 2-stroke engines ready. And 2030, we want to reduce the CO2 reduction by 50%. but I will send you later on the presentation, then you can see the project and our timeline. So this is what I showed you at the beginning, the projects what we are working on. So on the left-hand side, it's the first project with synthetic natural gas, what we converted. Then we have the first carbon-neutral cargo ship for AP Møller-Mærsk. And then Esbjerg, this is the heat pump, what I have mentioned. And then Heidelberg Cement is the carbon capture storage. This is the project where we did the retrofit on synthetic neutral gas. And the synthetic neutral gas comes from Power-to-X technology, what we have also in our portfolio. This is the Maersk vessel, where we delivered the first carbon neutral methanol engine. Then here we have the heat pump. So with this heat pump, it's installed in Denmark with an overall heating capacity of 50 megawatt. The plant will supply around 100,000 local Insel with heat. So this is Heidelberg Cement, where we do the carbon capture storage. It's a power plant near Oslo. Yeah. So this was basically the information what I want to show you. If you have some questions, I'm here to answer now, or I will be here around later on, so you can come to me. I will be happy to answer your questions if you have some.
Any questions to our Mr. Franke? Okay, later on.
Just
yes.
One short question. How many containers less loaded does first retrofitted ship when you retrofit on methanol? Or?
Yeah, methanol. Yeah.
I think it decreases the capacity, carrying capacity.
No, it's not decreasing the.
So it's not a problem with the storage of the new fuel?
No, it's not a problem. It's the same. So the capacity of the containers will continue the same.
But the energy from methanol is less than from diesel. That means if you want to have the same distance covered, you need more bunker capacity.
Yeah.
So that would reduce the cargo capacity.
Yeah.
That's what he meant.
Yeah, well, but as far as I know, the cargo capacity continues the same. That's what they told me. But I will ask, and I,
It is interesting.
Yeah.
From the
And maybe one more question about the carbon capture.
Yeah.
Can you go 2 to 3 slides back?
Yeah.
Just when you showed the gigatons you will save in 2030. By 2030, more than 1 gigaton of CO2 will be. How much is that? I mean, I have no idea what 1 gigaton CO2 means. Can you compare it to, I don't know, the emission of a ship or something like that to make it more clear?
Well, to be honest, I'm not so confirmed with this carbon storage, but I will get myself informed, and then I will let you know.
Okay.
So maybe you can give me your contact details, and then I can send it to you.
I can figure out it. Just keep in mind what is 1 gigaton, and then I'll figure out.
One question. You mentioned ammonia as a fuel at 2025, if I remember good.
24, this was the engine, yeah.
This will then require some extra training for the engine department, or how it will be in the practice? They will need to pass some extra training, the engine engineers on the ship.
Well, of course it needs training, you know. This is the two-stroke business. I'm actually from the four-stroke, but we offer training, and always when we sell new engines, you know, we offer training to the crew, and they will get the training as well.
Yeah, because it's completely new bunkering.
Completely new bunkering.
Safety measures.
Safety measures, yeah.
And is there enough supply of the new bunkers? Because you need factories to make them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a question, please, about retrofitting of existing vessels of the engines.
Yeah.
How long will it take the process? Existing engine to be retrofit, to use, I mean, the conventional, to be converted to new fuel, ammonia or methanol. I mean, as a process, technical process.
Yeah.
How long it will take?
Yeah.
How long?
1 month, 2 months?
It will take. I know it from the four-stroke engine when we converted it to a gas engine. It took us around 5 weeks, 6 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
6 weeks.
In dry dock, yeah.
Including the tanks?
No, the tanks was actually from the yard. This is not what we installed. We do only the engine.
Okay.
On the ammonia engine,
Yeah.
what is the lifespan?
The what?
The lifespan, how long we can exploit this engine? And the cost of spare parts and maintenance? It is a nice clean fuel, but
Yeah.
highly corrosive ammonia.
Yeah.
And what is the lifespan? What do you predict for this engine? 20 years, 30 years?
Life. I understand. I need to get back and for this to my two-stroke colleagues, and then I can write it to you. But I will take the question with me, and then
Those
I'll
are
come back to you.
questions rising.
Yeah. No problem.
Okay.
Okay.
Mr. President, I propose all the questions to be put together and to deliver it. On our official site, there will be, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, fine, thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
As a memory of your, thank you for your nice presentation. And I think that we just started our cooperation and discussions, because it's quite vital for us, especially these training we have to do with our crew, because in the future we have to use those engines, and in any emergency situations we have to act, and in order to act we have to be prepared for them. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Yeah, we have training centers around the world, in Korea, Copenhagen, Augsburg for four-stroke engines, turbochargers. So, yeah. Okay, thank you. Yeah.
I want, on behalf of our organization, to thank you to the company Cargill, which produce very good assistance in order to our event to be happen. And the second presentation will be made by the manager of company Cargill, Stan Matteев, please.
Hello everyone, and thank you for the honor to be able here and present to you what we, as the leading dry bulk charterer, do in that space currently and in the near-term future. I hope you all know Cargill. We are one of the leading, or the leading dry bulk commercial operator in the world. We do not own vessels, we operate vessels on time and voyage charter. Currently we operate around 700 vessels at any given time. In terms of data, what this means, that we carry around 220 million metric tons of cargoes. That's dry and wet. We visit more than 70 countries, serve 250 and more customers. Clearly, our exposure on bunkers is huge. Hence, later on in my presentation, I will talk you through our decarbonization journey. How we achieve that in terms of a structure, we are split in 4 strategic pillars. These are strategy, trading, operations, and analytics. Our strategy, business, and department are looking into strategic assets investments. They are defining not only our midterm, our short, mid, and long-term goals, but are also helping us accelerate on that. Clearly, our bread and butter are trading and operations. In trading and operations, we are split basis vessel sizes, and we have a couple of hybrid desks, such as parceling, where we put the parcels of different customers onto one large vessel, which is the easiest way to save emissions. We have our paper trade department, who are hedging our long and short positions, and we have our analytics department, who are providing insights on the market to our traders, but also our selected customers. What are our priorities today? We're customer driven. Everybody say that they are customer driven. That's the buzzword of the day. So for us, what that means? It means that we are closer to our customers, that we remain agile, and that we partner with our partners up and down the supply and demand chain to deliver on their sustainability goals as well. We have a big growth ambition. We believe that there is an opportunity to grow our volumes and fleet. However, we won't be able to do that without remaining ESG focused, another buzzword, right? For us, environmental, social, and governance is not just a report that we produce at the year end. There are very practical steps and a lot of efforts from a lot of people to deliver on these. Even though we are not a ship owner, and you can imagine it's kind of a difficult position to be in when it comes to crew safety and well-being, we are using our voice in the industry to talk about the importance of a crew safety and well-being. We have been, during the COVID period, we've been actively working with owners, with our partners on the cargo side, to ensure that even if there are some limitations and delays in ports, we will invest together to make the required deviations and not extend unduly the period of the seafarers on board. We are working with similar companies like us to establish a minimum safety and welfare standards on board the vessels. We put various innovative solutions, such as recently being launching together with the Seafarers Mission, a safety app, a well-being app for seafarers. We're putting smartwatches on board, trying to find the best solution going forward. And of course, the decarbonization journey, where there is a lot to be told, but prior going there, I would like just to put a small video. Okay. Now, we'll go back to the wind-assisted propulsion shortly, but this is our pathway to zero. And it's a busy slide. I definitely won't be able to go through the details of every single bullet points here. For me, the main headline here is that we've started back in 2017 by producing our first sustainability report and setting already at the time our climate targets. which we've been across the first in the industry to do so. Alongside with it, we've put a minimum standards for the energy design indexes for the vessels we charter in. During the course of the next, it would be almost 6 years now, by this year, we've been actively participating and building coalition-wide support across the industry, building coalitions for industry-wide support to help us together achieve that goal. We've been part of the Global Maritime Forum Foundation and the signing of the Up There Getting to Zero Coalition. Hence, our pathway today is fully aligned with the objective of the coalition, and that's to have a commercially viable zero-emission vessels sailing across the ocean routes by 2030 with an access to zero-emission fuels with the respective capabilities to produce, store, and use these. We've been enrolled, we've been launching and adopting different ship efficiency monitoring and optimization platforms. We started our partnership with Zero North that gives us an opportunity to digitize and optimize our operational decisions. We have started to be much more strategic and structured around the adoption and installation of energy-saving devices on our fleet by accelerating the ROI calculations with our owners and finding flexible funding schemes of these. What else we've been doing here? What currently we are doing? Currently, we are working on launching our first wind-assisted propulsion vessel. We have seen Pyxis Ocean. She will be in dry dock coming month, so all goes well. We expect her to be out in July. Afterwards, it would be a challenge, not a challenge, but we'll be focusing on ensuring that she can safely go in ports and outside of ports, and working with partners, with customers who will be willing to pay for these green corridors premiums, so that we continue learning and building the wind-assisted propulsion as an alternative to the future fuels and reduce our dependencies on these. We'll be currently and for the next decade focusing on continuous improvement, continuing to accelerate the installation of energy-saving devices, improving the quality of the hull surfaces by proactive hull cleaning and adopting and investing in better paints, also launching and making our parceling business bigger for optimizations across the supply chain as well. We'll be looking to scale up our wind-assisted propulsion vessels. Our current plans beyond Pyxis Oceans for the end of the current calendar year is to have 2 more similar vessels. We have been trialing in the last 1 year and plan to accelerate the use of biofuel. So far we have been safely using more than 30,000 metric tons using our 2 hubs in Amsterdam and Singapore, where we keep storage of these fuels. We use up to 30% blend at the current time. Also for the next decade, we are planning to work even more with industry partners on innovations around ammonia, ethanol, and methanol. We've put an order for 3 vessels currently, Kamsarmaxes, dual functions on methanol, that should be out by 2026 for this purpose. And the future beyond 2030, we envision like the rest of the industry, and like we've heard from our colleague from AND, it's in the scale up of the zero carbon fuel vessels, normalization already of the wind-assisted propulsion, and the continuous improvement around energy saving operation optimization should be the modus operandi for all players in the market. This is a bit different view on our decarbonization strategy for what we do now, and that's the immediate measures. Here we put the ops operational voyage optimizations using the Zero North digital platform, the installations, the consistent installation of energy saving devices. These 2 will at the best reach at the lower end of the double-digit numbers. At the same time, through wind, and biofuel, you expect to receive up to 20-30% further reductions. The next stage already will be the advanced biofuels and the synthetic fuels, being green and blue. And with this, I finish my presentation. I'm the operational lead of our team, so I might not be able to take all your technical questions. Unfortunately, I'm only looking at our strategy from a side and ensuring that we deliver from that. I'll be happy to take any questions then in email and return back to you with more answers. But if you have any answers, I'll be glad to take any questions.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
I see on your presentation the wind propulsion for you is only temporary. Because you said that there are wind propulsion and after the green fuel. So that means wind is just a temporary solution in order to wait the green fuel?
We see the wind propulsion. In this slide. Cool,
yep,
thanks.
In
this, I would like to. No, here we do not visualize what is temporary. I think that all of these have a role to play. Here, the graph is on a price and on a percentage of savings.
Okay.
So here, what we visualize that from operational digitization and energy saving devices, that's 10-15% max. However, on the wind and biofuel, that's how much savings we expect that you'll be able to achieve through that.
Okay. Now, because when I see like that, I say, okay, for you, the wind is an intermediate solution before to be biofuel and after advanced fuel, etc. But okay, I understand.
We see it as an opportunity. We perceive that as it's available today.
Okay.
So it's very easy to achieve.
Yeah.
We see it as a way to test the market first, whether the market is ready to pay for the premium, but also we see it as a potential alternative to reduce our dependency and the stress that everybody are putting on our shoulders about the green and blue fuels, which are still a lot of science. We've been recently to a study and review of ammonia in South America. Now we are doing the methanol studies. We believe that that's the future. That's why we wouldn't have put our money, not our, it's corporate money. The corporation wouldn't have allowed us to spend the money to order these two methanol dual fuel engines. But wind is there. We believe it will stay as an alternative.
Do you think that the substandard ship owners and operators can undermine the process? I mean, with if they use not green technologies, but they're still allowed to carry cargoes.
I think here we all have the responsibility to establish common standards and then to impose it. That's why we are supportive of the forthcoming legislation, even if, for example, CII, there is a bit of a controversy to it. We are all a bit worried how exactly that will be implemented, but this doesn't mean that we do not support it. We believe that in the next 2 years, once we start reporting on CII, there will be better clarity on the methodology, there will be better clarity on how exactly the responsibility is going to be allocated. But only together as an industry, putting these standards up there, we ensure that they are not substandards player jeopardizing our common goal. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, if I get it right, it's 1.5 ton of the fuel saving per day per one sail, yeah?
I suppose so.
I think so. On the presentation.
If it is in presentation, then it's true. Yeah, for sure.
So I was just wondering, what is your selling point with this one? What is your, if you are trying to sell to, let's say, to me, for example, how fast I will get my investment back?
Okay. Efficiency, it's paying on its own first. The less you produce, the less money. At the same time, it's super expensive, you're right.
Yeah.
Our selling point is mostly to the supply chains with service, because this is they have their sustainability goals on their own, right? So if we're ensuring that we can provide you with the greener vessels servicing your flow from point A to point B, that's a guarantee that you will have less emissions. That's the ultimate selling point we have.
No, just wondering, what is, let's say, price, let's say like these 3 sails or whatever.
I don't know the total cost of it. It is built as a partnership with BAR, with Yara Maritime, and there are also some additional funding that's helping us there. But I don't have the ROI ahead of me.
In terms of the design of the ships,
yes.
How do they keep a proper lookout, and how does that affect the radar shadow sectors?
You were talking about wind assisted propulsion. There are a lot of innovations. What I know that in order to ensure that there is a proper visibility, as you say. There is a class-approved cameras on board, and that are from all angles to ensure that the crew has the proper safety standard, is meeting the safety standard. It's complex.
The radar scanner forward?
It's not only the radar, there are visual cameras everywhere. Because the wings are high 38 meters. So you put 38 meters, and yeah, that's a dry bulk. It's a retrofit. It's not a container vessel that's adjusted to be able to have 5 tiers.
On the top of the sail.
I don't know about these details, but I know that there are a lot of patents that have been approved about that. Our crew will be trained for 15 days how to operate the wing in Denmark, the whole crew. We're working very actively with terminals, because you can imagine one aspect is the operating of these vessels. Complete different aspects is the terminals to be comfortable, such vessels to come in and to go out. On the video, for example, she's visualized that she's berthing starboard side. Yeah, most probably the wings are moving. The wings can move from one side to the other. Okay. So they're sliding. But anyhow, some terminals say you should only go there. So we're traveling the world. We're currently going to South America, then we're going to Europe and to North America especially, to make sure that our experts can convince the terminals to accept such vessels. Because if these vessels cannot carry cargo, then we're not achieving anything, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome. Again, if there are no any other questions, or if there are other questions, please give these via emails, and we'll try to answer as much as possible through our team of experts. Once more, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Stan. He's an old friend of mine, but we used to meet in the swimming marathons here in Varna Bay, but now in a different place. So I'm very happy to present this plaque, and you are always welcome to our meetings and our discussions, and we can keep the cooperation.
I'll be more disciplined to come more frequently.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I take your attention again? Our program continues with the next presentation. The presentation will be made by Nick Markov. It's a representative of Bulgarian Academy of Sciences. Please.
Academy of Science. Dear distinguished guests, dear shipmasters, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Nick Markov. I'm leading the Bulgarian Ship Hydrodynamics Center in Varna. This center is a division of the Institute of Metal Science Equipment and Technologies in Sofia. So, Bulgarian Ship Hydrodynamics Center performs fundamental and applied research, training and education in the areas of ship hydrodynamics, aerodynamics, water transportation, and etc. It's started operations in 1976 with significant financial support from the United Nations and expert support from IMO. We're a member of the ITTC since 1978, advisory council member, and we're ISO certified. So there are some big facilities in Varna. As you see, we have open water area in the lake, in Varna Lake. There is a deep water towing tank, which is 200 meters by 16 meters by 6.5 meter water depth. It also has a wave maker to simulate ocean waves. We have a large workshop with to produce scaled down ship models and propellers. We also have a shallow water tank, which is a towing tank which is same dimension as the deep water towing tank, just it's shallow from 0 to 1.5 meter water depth. It's very convenient for inland vessel testing. We have cavitation tunnel for testing propellers with two different sections, one bigger one and a smaller one, and an ocean basin. This is a seakeeping and manuring basin, which is 60 by 40 meters. By 2.5 meter up to 2.5 meter water depth, because we can test manuring of ships in shallow water too. So this basin we test scaled down ship models for manuring tests and seakeeping tests. And here some photos from the facility. On the left side, the upper photo shows the towing carriage and the deep water towing tank. It can go up to 6 meters per second speed. Then the seakeeping basin is down on the left side, and you can see a radio-controlled model which is making a circular turn for manuring tests. And then you can see the waves down there, and also ship tested in waves. In blue, you can see the cavitational tunnel, and there's some cavitation here on the propeller on the right side. Our research activities, we have ship powering performance tests, ship manuring tests, ship seakeeping tests in waves, powering in shallow water for inland transportation, and propellers cavitation and aerodynamics. Here on the photos you can see the testing of offshore floating platform. This is a moored platform, semi-submersible for oil and gas production. And then there are a couple of marine energy conversion devices. The one in the center works with water overflowing and filling. It uses the gravity, the weight of the water. And everyone knows the wind turbines, floating wind turbines. Then we've tested agricultural structures, which is fish farms. And we've tested for Norwegian customers. They came with the fish farm and with the fish. So they brought us some salmon, smoked salmon from Norway. We have tested submarines and underwater unmanned devices. Another activity is computation of fluid dynamics, CFD. Here you can see simulations of ship hull form advancing in waves, a catamaran with drifting waves. We also have tests for seakeeping and for aerodynamics. So, the innovative research, we're engaged in many different types of research projects, both commercial projects and also budget-funded projects. So here we have shown a few, but I'll show them in detail later. So in the recent decade, we've performed almost 100 test programs related to energy-saving devices. This is, you can see the Becker-Mewis duct on the left, and which optimizes the flow towards incoming flow to the propeller, and different also devices on the right side which optimize the outflow from the propeller. So what we did in this nearly 100 design and validation projects, we validated the computer predictions for efficiency improvement that these devices bring to the ships. They're used in new ships also as retrofit. So they show 2 to 8% improvement in efficiency depending on the ship design and propeller design. And also we not just validate them, but we optimize them. We perform the final optimization in the basin, which means this, for example, Mewis ducts, they have little hydrophiles, and the angle of the hydrophiles is fine-tuned and adjusted in the towing tank to get optimal energy efficiency. And these are all commercial projects. Most of them are from Germany, Becker Marine, but the ship owners from all over the world, so Korea and China and Greece and from everywhere. We're also engaged in a Horizon Europe project, which started 2022 to 2025. It's a 3-year project, and this project aims to design a composite propeller. And there are brochures outside, by the way. You can pick a brochure about this project. So the advantages of the composite propeller will be low vibration, lightweight, high performance, high strength, and reduced cavitation. So it's designed in a way that the composite structure is designed so the propeller can flex in certain direction, and so it flexes to improve the efficiency, and also the damping of the material reduces the vibrations in the propeller and the cavitation. So it's a 3-year program, and there are several participants, 3.5 million euro I think program. From Greece we have University of Ioannina, then Danal Shipping from Greece, Bureau Veritas from France, MECA design group from France, Loritech is, they have fabrication facilities, they fabricate different composite articles, and then it's the Bulgarian Shipyard Center, Guafos Marine is from Greece, TWI Limited and Brunel University are from the United Kingdom. We're actually going to Cambridge next week for a 6-month meeting with the partners. So this is what we're doing, for designing for near future. Now we also, as Bulgarian Academy of Sciences, we would like to look in a further future, beyond 2030, even beyond 2050. So the next slides will show you some ideas and concepts we developed for further future. And the first one is wave energy drive, or we call it WeDrive. So this concept aims to improve the weather factor by using the energy of ship motions in waves to counter the added resistance in waves and wind. So the concept is easy. A flow through a pipe bend creates a reaction force. You can see the pipe bend on the right side, and if you have even plumbers know that's when the water flows through a pipe up or down, it will create a reaction force. So what we thought was the ship bow is almost like pipe bent shape-wise. You can see at the bottom. So why not using something like a double wall at the ship bow, and you have there the collision bulkhead anyway. It's relatively free from equipment. So if we have a double wall at the ship bow, even inside the ship bow, which is open to the sea at the bottom, then when the ship pitches in waves, the water will be oscillating inside. And when the water oscillates, it creates a reaction force that pushes the ship forward. Which means the WeDrive may supplement extra engine power needed in a seaway. And the efficiency, EEDI, may be improved by, we approximately calculate, by 11 to 18% depending on the ship type and displacement. So the interesting thing about this device, it works when you need it, and it's completely passive. There are no protruding parts, there are no moving parts. It's a dumb curved compartment. And why it works when it's needed? Because when you have waves, you have added wave resistance, and at that time when you need to increase power and emissions, you actually don't have to, because this WeDrive will supply you the extra power you need without burning more fuel and using extra. So it supplements power when it's needed. That's the idea. So we did some computer simulation and optimize it. At the bottom you can see we started with some guess form, then we optimize it, and then the graph on the right side shows that the dip in the green line shows when you have added resistance in waves, and then you can see how this device can turn it the other way, compensate for this dip just by the water that's moving, the inertia of the water that's moving inside the double wall. And so we call it a ship that uses weather to fight the weather. And the ship drawing here is not up to scale, of course, it's just to show you the concept. And this is even farther into the future. It's a quantum drive, Q drive. So quantum technologies have been advancing in the last decades, but mostly in the computer industry and communication industry, sensors. So we were thinking, okay, why not use quantum technologies for propulsion directly? So here we're developing a propulsion method that's based on quantum tunneling. There are no chemical or nuclear reactions. So what I show here, it's an ammonia molecule. Ammonia molecule consists of 3 hydrogen atoms and 1 nitrogen atom. So from my perspective, ammonia molecule is a very sophisticated engine by itself. So why burn it? Why is it an engine? Because it spontaneously flips 24 billion times a second. So the nitrogen atoms flips up and down between the hydrogen atoms 24 billion times a second. And it does it with speeds near the speed of light. It does it on Earth, it does it in the outer space. Actually, I think astronomers were first that detected this flipping ammonia because of the microwaves that it emits in space. So this is actually an old phenomenon that's been known for almost 100 years because the nitrogen inversion of the ammonia was used in the first masers before the lasers and in the first atomic clocks. So this is a very well-known phenomena. We just want to use it directly for propulsion. So how do we do that? The ammonia molecule flips, but it also is polar, which means these kind of micro pistons that you see, they can be oriented, that can be steered with an external electrostatic field, electric field, or laser, or even mechanically with a turbine flow. So now we have 10 to the power of 20 molecules that can be oriented, and they all can work in the same direction. So we have enormous amounts of micropistons working in the same direction, and their collisions in a predominant direction may result in a pressure differential and a propulsive force. So we managed to move a 1 kilogram container, and we're trying to scale it up now, but we're talking with partners from London University, their Department of Physics and Astronomy, and partners from Switzerland and Hungary also. So hopefully, we still don't know the efficiency of this device, and we still don't know how much it can be scaled, but even if it cannot be scaled, and if it's not very efficient, it may be still useful for space application, for satellites and stuff like that. Here we show a ram-shaped bulbous bulb. We just started with the original form, ship hull form, and then we ran automatic optimization of the ship hull form to lower the wave resistance. And what happened is it produced the red hull form at the bottom. It did it automatically, so we didn't know that's gonna happen. And it kind of reminds us the ram-shaped valves of the old Asian ships. Actually, bulb was invented based on knowledge from the Asian ships, because they noticed that ships with rams actually speed up compared to ships without rams, and then it was implemented in the 1980s, largely because of the advancement of the computer design, where these bulbs can be optimized. So here we show that automatic optimization can lead to 9% reduction of the total resistance, and this is achieved by increasing the displacement with 1%. So we increase the displacement with 1% and we reduce resistance by 9%. Wind assisted ships previous speakers talk about that. We also work on this. Everyone works on this. So here we apply it to realistic ships along the Varna-Poti route, and we estimated 11% efficiency increase along this route. We've been awarded. We have the NATO award from 2012, then City of Varna several awards, and recent awards from 2019, 2020, 2021, Bulgarian Science Federation 2016. And here are international relations. We pretty much have commercial projects from customers along the world. We have many projects from Germany, we have from the United States, we have from Israel, from China, Korea, and you can see all the companies that we work with here in Varna. And thank you. That was from me.
Any question to Nick Markov? It's a leading scientist here in Varna.
Yes, you are working on energy efficiency. By the same, are you working also on the problem of the parametric rolling? Because you have the wave, you can make the wave, and so are you also working on?
We think, for example, that this wheel drive can also reduce this type can also reduce motions. Why? Because it uses the energy from ship motions to generate propulsion. So if it uses the energy from motion, pitch motions or roll motions, then it will reduce the pitch motion or roll motions, and it's actually the graph shows some reduction in the pitch motion.
Okay.
So this is how much we work in this direction, that, for example, a device that produces propulsion from motions could reduce the motions.
Okay.
Okay, many thanks again.
Thank you.
Thanks again for excellent presentation. Nick mentioned that that facility, excellent facility, was built at the beginning with the help of United Nations. It was actually a project in '70s, and it still is helping our economy to improve. And now with the European Green Deal, it's also necessary to continue. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me. It's an honor.
Thank you.
And next presentation will be carried out by Captain Dilan Shteref. It's a manager of our training center in Navigation Maritime Bulgar company. Please.
Good day, sirs. Thank you very much to giving me the opportunity to take the word in such a meeting. Congratulations. It is very important for me and a big challenge to stay in front of you and present some problems in the shipping, because comparing my presentation with the other presentations till now, it is a little bit sad. Why? Because I will talking about disasters. I will talk about vessels which are not which do not sail all over the world. No, I will talk about casualties. So it sounds very good, green shipping and everything else. I was very impressed by the regarding the new fuels, new technologies, and everything else. But I want to make a short overview over the global maritime safety. What is the situation of with the casualties at sea now? You may see here on this slide the casualties, let's say from the beginning of the decade. It is since 2012 till 2021. The trend is obvious. So, in 2012 there are 127 vessels which are casualties, and in 2021 we have decreased to 54 vessels. It means more than 5-7% decrease of total losses of ships. Compared with the year 2020, it is 17% down, from 65 to 54 vessels. It is compared to the growth of the world shipping fleet. 30 years ago, there were 80,000 vessels sailing, and in 2022 there are more than 130 vessels. The decrease sounds very interesting. Why? How is this happening? First step, it is because of the improvement of ship design, technologies and regulations. And on the final place, here we have to mention also the human factor. The human factor and the safety culture of the seafarers we are driving these vessels. So, lesson learned from the casualties is very interesting, and improving the results from the investigations are keeping the steady results in the ship safety. And the moment which I have to stress is the situation with the bulk carriers, especially which are carrying liquefying cargoes. Liquefaction at the moment is the killer of bulk carriers. Why? Here on this slide you can see the total number of losses of bulk carriers for the decade since 2012. There are 44 bulk carriers, and I have to stress that we are talking only about vessels which are more than 10,000 tons deadweight. Here is the figure of that vessels. We have handy-sized vessels, 13 ships which are lost. From Handymax, 8 ships lost. From Supramax, bulk carriers, 10 ships lost. And the total number is 44. I will turn a little bit back. What are the reasons for sinking of that vessels? On first place, 19 vessels are lost due to grounding. It's a human factor. But on the next point is coming the cargo liquefaction. Cargo liquefaction with only 10, only in brackets of course, with only 10 lost vessels, but the losses of life are 143 persons, compared to grounding with 19 vessels with only 10 life losses. So, here are the vessels, the name of the vessels, 10 vessels, beginning from Juan Fustar, passing through Nasco Diamond, through Bulk Jupiter, Emerald Star, and finally Nur Ali. It is not visible from here, but Nur Ali 2020, 27 casualties. I will compare the disaster with Nasco of Juan Fustar and Nasco Diamond. Both vessels are loading the same cargo. Both vessels are loading in the same port. Both the difference between the dates of the loading are approximately 1 week to 10 days. Juan Fustar passed away. Nasco Diamond is a new vessel. He is bound 1 year before. And the vessel was informed regarding the problems with Juan Fustar. But the result is the same. What happened on Juan Fustar? The Johan Fussar sank in 25 minutes. From leaving the loading port, he sailed approximately 5 days, and he received a surprising list of 3 to 4 degrees to port side. What they started to do? They started to ballast the vessel. They received a list to port side, and they accepted ballast on their starboard side. So, Nasco Diamond, informed of these problems, he sailed from the same port with the same direction, Singapore, to make bunkers. After 5 days, he received the same problem, 3 lists to port side. He called the office, informing the situation, his decision to take the ballast. From the office, the vessel was informed not to proceed with this action, to wait further instructions. They started to discharge water from the holds and continued their ways. 1 hour later, the vessel passed away with only one survivor. And the same situation with the other vessel. So, what is the purpose of this presentation? Everything sounds good with the green shipping, but we do not have to forget the safety at sea, because professional education and training of seafarers is of great importance. Of great importance to prepare to be ready for something like this, liquefaction on board. And the new challenges with the new fuels, I think I predict some kind of necessity to prepare the people to work with these new fuels. We are speaking about corrosive materials, ammonia, methanol, and other materials. So my presentation is very short, but I think it is very important for the future of the merchant safety and of the merchant fleet. Thank you for your attention.
Any questions to our captain?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I thought that was a fantastic presentation, thank you, because it's a very important area and it's happening every year. There doesn't seem to be much change. I know you have less casualties, but this bulk carrier problem is all over. And a colleague and I tried to explain this in another way, and the IMO have resisted the explanation. So our explanation was simple. When there is liquefaction, water settles on the top of the cargo, causing free surface effect.
Yes.
We know about LB cubed over 12, we know all that, the length of the breadth of these ships. So you now have a reduction in GM of probably 5, 6, maybe even more, 10 meters, causing this problem. So you have a shift of weight and you have a reduction of GM. And that's why they capsize so quickly. And also, as you know, this occurs when people are loading in monsoon conditions and heavy rain. So to be honest, I think the responsibility must be on the cargo supervisors and for state control, all the regulatory authorities, to double check the transportable moisture limits and all the parameters associated with loading a bulk cargo. And I'm amazed they don't do this. Why does this continue to occur? They even warned the first ship about the second ship about the previous one, and they made the same mistake. Is it human error? Is it incompetence? Someone is making a mistake here.
Thank you very much. It is very interesting to discuss this problem with professionals because we can find common solution of this problem. I think the problem is onshore because this is kind of organization. Here is coming the problem with the weather certificate. So the weather certificate should be presented 7 days before the start of the loading. But who is issuing this certificate? The shipper is issuing this certificate. It is the great problem. It is the great problem because there is a conflict of interest. And the example with and I think there is no understandings there is a knowledge, but there is no understanding of the problem. Because, for example, with Nasco Diamond, the master was informed what to do, can test, and everything which was requested. But finally, he found that the transportable moisture limit is up from the parameters. Up, the moisture was up from the transportable moisture limit. But he issued a letter of protest about the quality of the cargo, about the quality. He didn't reject the barge with the cargo which was with
and during the voyage,
with moisture.
Surely, the SMS, the safety management system, surely they should monitor the holes for the appearance of liquid. And once they detect it, they have to go to a safe harbor.
Yeah.
But they don't do this.
Yes.
It's too late.
Too late, yes. They had to check the surface of the cargo in the holds.
But what's amazing is there's nothing new about this. This is going on for 30 years.
Yeah.
Not only he is obliged directly to reject the part of the cargo which is not in with the quantity of moisture.
This is the point. This is the exact point. He should reject the cargo.
Yeah.
He should reject the cargo. He has the power to do this.
That's commercial pressure. Yes.
Yeah. This is the
Otherwise
point.
he gets fired.
Yeah.
I think that we are again talking about commercial pressure because on the previous AGA 2008 we discussed a very sad case with a Bulgarian ship sank north of Bosporus on the same reason, liquefaction, and all the crew died. It was, for those who remember, it's motor vessel Hera, and all the crew died because the vessel sank in 7-8 minutes, and the sad story was that even the son of one of the owners of the vessel was on board as apprentice, which is so. And you see that still nowadays things are going in the same way. Again, commercial pressure, and crew on board are not able to react. Maybe, or they underestimate the consequences.
We had a case in Ireland many years ago, a small coaster loading coal. Similar problem.
Yeah.
The captain rejected the cargo. He was fired. He went home. They got another
This is the problem.
No, they got another captain. He sailed, they all died.
Yeah.
But actually, they all died in the life raft from hypothermia.
This is the problem. So Intercargo has a report regarding these casualties, and he contacted. He is stressing the necessity to change the ACCW convention and requesting the increase of the educational training of the seafarers in direction to increase their not knowledge, their understanding of the problem. Because this example with Nasco Diamond with not understanding the problem. In core the problem. What was the problem? It is the problems for me, regarding my opinion.
I would like to point out that many of our colleagues captains are not using the legal power and the help of the blue code. They are only the terminals are using and pressing the masters, while some of the masters are not understanding that they also should use the blue code to insist and to request well enough and well in advance a good information in order to protect
the master.
The masters.
Of course. So, gentlemen, thank you for your attention.
Thank you.
And have a good stay in Bulgaria.
Thank you.
Okay, I want to introduce our legal advisor of Bulgarian Shipmasters Association. It's a very interesting person which provides a lot of knowledge, different kind of life, but for us, he is our legal advisor, have a very good experience in Belgium, for instance, and he worked like P&I server representative and etc. I present you Mr. Yavo Vevchev, which is the Association legal advisor.
Well, thank you very much. I am honored and pleased to be here in this bunch because you're all very reputable, very smart, and very experienced people. My fuel ran out, my car this morning while I was traveling here. There was a bit of delay. I had to speak in the first session, so pardon me, but you had a good lunch, I hope. And that's thanks to the organizers, these gentlemen here. I really want to thank for the opportunity to speak. My name is Javor. I represent this company. There is a brochure which I brought out in the tables. Feel free to pick up one. And thank you, Stanislav, for the presentation. We actually are insurance consultants and legal consultants, but you can refer to us for any similar questions. I was given 10 minutes to speak today. So last night I said I will invest 10 minutes in the preparation of this preparation. I've kept it rather generic on purpose because the topics here are huge. They require a lot of time. So it is generic. I will touch upon a few things and hopefully that will open minds for further questions, discussions. Feel free to just keep in touch. Just to start, I'm going to play a video which I found interesting. We organized the Marine Forum last year and it was sent to me by David Lucy, who is the president of BAMK. I personally invited him and he sent me this video. It's a 2-minute video. Yes. Hopefully it will play. Yes.
It's time for change. Change that will be seen and felt for generations. It's time for the shipping industry to accelerate our work towards a sustainable future. A future that keeps the world supplied with everyday goods and trade still global, but our emissions, few. It's time for our industry to focus our efforts on cleaner energy, where harmful methods are permanently substituted for greener ones. And while the development of alternative methods has already begun, there's still much more that must be done. We will be defined by our actions, not by our words. Solutions must be our priority instead of just an afterthought. Decarbonizing our industry must come first as second nature, because we have a responsibility to make global trade greener, our industry cleaner. And they say change starts at home. But the time has come to think about change on a much greater scale. Now is the time to use new technology and increase the use of greener fuels. And we accept it's taken a climate crisis to make us realize how important the ice is and understand the scale of what is needed. There is no turning back, and small steps are no longer enough. Our industry's transformation cannot happen overnight, and as consumers we need to learn that cheaper isn't always right, that greener comes at a price. So it's time to see industries working closer together and recognize that the scale of the challenge is of mind-blowing proportions if we are to succeed. As we explore the science, we need to triumph for the good of our planet and its people. It's a case of when, not if. Now is the time to pool our resources, understand that this won't just be sorted, and act on the unprecedented shift to decarbonize, and realize that we cannot turn our backs, because there is no turning back.
All right, I thought this was invigorating. Okay, so a bit of index here. I will just mention what's new at the United Nations and the European Union in terms of new frameworks. I'll speak a little bit about the Poseidon principles, which you may find interesting for those of you who don't know about them. And then I'll just mention a few other initiatives, but starting with the United Nations High Seas Treaty. This is a treaty that's supposed to protect the marine environment and it's the biodiversity outside of the jurisdictional areas which the shipping countries usually have. So as you may know, the high seas is a complex area where a lot of laws cross and cross-jurisdictional issues arise. And the purpose and the objective of the UN is to create a legal framework where the ship owners and the business stakeholders feel more and more engaged, pressured and aligned to ensure climate preservation. That will reflect in creating new rules, that will reflect in preventing the environment, and mostly the ships will have to abide to regulations which are outside of their, say, P&I covers or hull and machinery covers. It's going to be a new set of rules on a supranational, international level. A few concepts are established in the United Nations High Seas Treaty, and these are the marine protected areas, the vulnerable marine ecosystems. As I mentioned, the ships will be even further regulated, and a lot of people say shipping is so regulated nowadays, it's such a difficult business to sit in and to start with. For the fishing vessels, there will be a ban for overfishing, and for the marine treaty, for the High Seas Treaty to come in force, there will be 60 nations needed to ratify. Okay. The member states or the signatories of the High Seas Treaty will need to do capacity building, and they'll need to exchange technologies between each other, with each other, in order for the transparency to be even greater. The ships on their behalf will need to carry and maintain records for what they do in terms of fuels, what they do in terms of the quality of the fuels, how they burn them, pollutants, etc. Now, when it comes to the liability regimes, as you may imagine, 60 countries on the planet binding with each other with a new High Seas Treaty, there will be new liability regimes. This is connected with insurance. This is our area, the insurance, so we're more than happy to discuss. But obviously, the P&I clubs will be engaged in this. They will need to have a new attitude with possibly endorsements, annexes, addendums, and well, basically extension of their standard P&I rules. The regime of the liability is the so-called strict regime of liability, meaning that the ship owner will be found liable for a breach or a damage to the environment, regardless of whether he's at fault or not. This is not your everyday P&I case where somebody from the crew has hurt himself, or you've hit a dolphin or whatnot. This is environment. Environment, as you may know, under P&I, the limit for environmental pollution is the highest possible. So environment is a very touchy subject when it comes to supranational bodies and organizations. Therefore, insurance will be important. Now, the EU is not falling behind. It is trying to show that it's a progressive mind, and it creates the first law on green fuels. This is the so-called end or the beginning of the end of dirty fuels in shipping. It's a fairly recent one. It's only been around for a few months. It still has to be implemented in national legislations, etc. But the objective is that at least 2% of the fuels are the so-called e-fuels or green fuels, which are derived from renewable energy. Now, there is already a table which is laid down to show how the fuels progressively will have to be more and more E or green as time goes by. And I've put this in a slide here. So it's 2% by 2025, 6% by 2030, 14.5% by 2035, 31% by 2040, 62% by 2045, and some huge 80% by 2050, hopefully and eventually. So as you see, a very ambitious agenda by the European Union to create an incentive for the states to utilize renewable energy and alternative sources. When it comes to incentivizing the member state and the business interests and the ship owners, there are some credits or bonuses. Some of them are even created by a formula named multiplier by 2. When it comes to the ships will will need to use onshore power when they are at port, or do everything possible to use such power when they're moored or at the quayside in the significant ports of the European Union. At birth, zero emission requirement, import, onshore power supply, or alternative zero emission technologies. Okay, now as I said, this is brief and this is generic. I'll try to fit within my time frame. I move on to the Poseidon principles, which are basically, it's a new thing. You may have heard about this last year. I think it's not more than 2 years old, and it basically spans over 2 domains in the business. On the left is insurance. I put it in purple. On the right it's finance. Why that? Because the insurance people thought that they probably have a good overview of what's going on with the ships under their policies. As you may know, some insurers are very big. They maintain very complex and large insurance programs. There are large fleets of above 100 or even 150 or 200 ships in their portfolios. So they've come to acknowledge and to understand that if they become transparent and deliver and share the information about the effectivity of the fuel consumption of these ships which are under the policies, they will effectively contribute to the world going forward with green energy. How does that happen? There are, I'll play you another video, and this time must be Nick Shaw, who is the head of the international P&I clubs. I personally invited Nick Shaw last year to address the audience in our other forum, which takes place in Burgas, and he agreed to do so. He recorded this message, and I'll just play it for you to show how committed Nick Shaw personally is to the causes of green shipping and Poseidon principles.
Hello, I'm Nick Shaw, and I'm very sorry not to be with you today in person. However, I am delighted to have the opportunity to speak to you on behalf of the international group of P&I clubs. The international group represents 90% of shipping tonnage around the world, and it includes 13 associations who are owned and controlled by ship owners and are not-for-profit in terms of the way they operate. There are 3 main purposes of the international group. First and foremost is to provide high levels of P&I cover and reinsurance cover to ship owners when they face big maritime claims. Secondly, they come together at the international group offices to share their expertise on the many shipping issues that occur. And lastly, they act together to provide a collective voice on liability issues throughout the shipping industry with the various stakeholders, including IMO.
I will pause Nick Shaw here, and I don't mean any disrespect. I just wanted to show how engaged he is personally, and how engaged the P&I clubs are and the insurance industry in the cause of green shipping. It's not my intention to show the entire talk. So again, the insurance and the finance industries under the Poseidon principles are engaged, they are involved, they want to create a better world. They've set out an agenda which may look ambitious, but steps are taken for the way forward. Now, the principles are separated in 4 sections, as you will see. The first principle is the assessment of climate alignment, which simply means the measuring of the carbon intensity when it comes to fuel consumption. The second principle is accountability. How can an insurer, and this is mostly hull and machinery insurance, it's not P&I that much, because the hull basically insures the asset, the ship. In contrast to the P&I, which insures the liabilities, here the hull and machinery insurer insures the main engine, the auxiliary engines, the hull, etc., anything that's hardcore within the ship. And that gives an opportunity for a hull and machinery underwriter to appreciate whether the ship is a rusty bucket which burns very bad junky fuels, or it's a modern green clean ship which contributes to the cause we're talking about. So it's data collection and sharing from insurers to the outside world. Principle 3 is enforcement, which is creating of standardized clauses under the Poseidon principles which will apply to its signatories. This is achieved with the help of brokers. The brokers, as you know, are inseparable parts of creating the insurance policy, but also servicing it. We are one such broker, and we do that gladly. So creating the clauses with the stakeholders, with the ship owners, with the brokers, and with the insurers themselves. And principle 4 is transparency, which I find the most honest principle, and it's about sharing, it's about showing, and it's about issuing a report and launching it publicly on the website of the Poseidon principle. So whoever's interested in what's happening with the ship and its consumption, then the annual report can be found and read. Right. The principles. These are the signatories, the companies, the insurance companies that form part of the Poseidon principles nowadays. You may know some of them, but if you don't, then on the left side, Fidelis is a Lloyd's syndicate. Guard is the largest P&I club. Hellenic Club is in there. Navium is another Lloyd's syndicate. Norwegian Hull Club is called a fixed premium, so this is not an IG P&I club, but it's still P&I. SCORE is very much a French consortium, a giant in insurance. School is one of the probably top 3 P&I clubs. Swiss Re is a reinsurer and insurer. Victor is international very much. And on the right side there are some brokers and a little smaller players. Right. So again, the overall objective is climate considerations put into lending decisions. This is already the finance. How do the banks, how do the lenders see this? What attitude they have, and what do they do in order to facilitate the sharing and transparency? Well, as much as the insurers, they will be the ones with the say whether money will be lent to a ship owner, knowing the ship owner's agenda, what the intentions are, etc. So again, the financiers want to promote decarbonization when they take a lending decision. Again, the principles are very much the same: assessment of the climate alignment, accountability, enforcement of some common rules, and transparency. 30 leading banks form part of the Poseidon principles. You will know most of the names. I will show them to you in the next slide. They represent about $200 billion in ship finance altogether, and they do issue a report. The 22 report is available on the site. I'm coming to the end of my talk, which hopefully was about 10-ish minutes. But here you see the names of the banks. You see BNP Paribas, you see Citibank, who else is there? ING, Société Générale, and more, and Nordea, etc., etc. So very, very, very big names, a lot of money put into one common mind as to saving the planet and the climate. Now, again, the agenda is ambitious and tough. On the one hand, they want to align with the IMO's 50% reduction of gases. On the second hand, they want to chase the 1.5 Celsius temperature above pre-industrial levels to meet the goals of the Paris Agreement. Ambitious, a lot of money in it, and respect for all done. It's only the start. These things are very recent, very new. For the ones of you who don't know that, I hope it's found interesting. For the ones of you who know a bit about this, I'm very happy to talk and to discuss. I'll stay at dinner. And again, some other initiatives, very independent initiatives. One is called Green Shipping Corridors, Sustainable Shipping Initiative, Ship Recycling Transparency Initiative, etc., etc. There's a lot going on. It's a very broad topic. This is this is my conclusion. You see a real green ship. It's so green that it actually looks like a frog. Thanks for the humor. I hope you found that a bit funny. I did, so I decided to show it to you. This is real green shipping. My name's Javor. I'm here on behalf of Ship Possible. Thank you very much. I hope you found that interesting.
Thank you.
Give me a mic. Okay, I think that is most of...
Yeah.
Well,
next time you can have a tie with you.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
Have
wonderful.
A nice tie from the Confederation. So I think on your official events you can use it.
I'm so proud. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you to our legal advisor. I think that is what a fabulous, as usual. And I think that with this presentation we close the stage. But anyway, as I heard, there will be another surprise, and probably some quiz after that. Okay.